overhead guard. You're going to look for any kind of a crease. It's going to actually soften and weaken that. You're going to look for any bolts. Most of these bolts are covered up, so you're not going to see them. You're not going to have to worry about that until PM. Any of these beams up top, you want to make sure that these are all straight and not sagging down, so that they're actually like that. Checking your cylinders, you want to look for leaks, you want to look for nicks. You're actually going to look at the chrome down on the cylinders. Right down in here. Make sure you don't see any oil dripping off of the bottom of that cylinder on your tilt cylinders. Your lift cylinders. You're also going to mainly look up here, make sure it's not running down. This is mainly where it's going to leak, is the seal that's on the top. On the side of the mast, there are two main lift cylinders, one on each side. Just make sure you don't see oil running down that or leaking from the hoses that are on that cylinder. For your mast assembly, you're going to want to look at your welds, where this is all welded on here. Make sure none of this is broken. Up towards the top, there's also a couple welds on the beams. Make sure that you don't see any huge dents in the channels. And then also where your rollers are in here, make sure that this is not getting any kind of a metal shaving or any kind of gouging inside of here. Nice and smooth with a little bit of grease on it. You're going to want to take a look at your chains, which are going to be down in here. Make sure that it is a solid piece, that you don't see any cracks, and you don't see any pieces just sticking out. Make sure that your rollers look okay too. You've got also rollers up on the top. Look for gouging or any major dry spots. And then also these chains on the top, it's the same thing. Look for any breaks in any of the links. Up here, looking, these are actually oiled. Clamp inspection. Make sure you don't have any leaks on your cylinders. It's going to be also another cylinder check, but you're going to be stuck down inside on both sides. There's a pivot one that's down inside here. You're going to have the along here. Check to make sure that these pads are actually raised. They're actually wear pads. This side they're almost smooth. Make sure your pins in here aren't broken. This is actually attached to your clamp. It's not flopping around. A little bit of movement is fine. You don't want it too loose though. Make sure your rollers are also not gouged up. Also make sure your pins are all held in place. None of them are missing, none of them look loose. All your caps are on there, but make sure your pins are actually visible all the way across. Tires, you want to make sure that you've got a lot of life left on here. You don't have any big cracks that are running the full width of your tire. Pieces like this you do want to report. It starts to lose the amount of weight you can actually put on that tire. The little cracks like that, the chunk missing out of there, let them know. Also make sure while you're driving it, it's an egg shape. You get a lot of vibration out of it. Once the tire has reached the top of these letters and numbers up here, that tire is considered wore out. So let them know too that the tire is worn down once it gets to there. This tire right here, big gouges like this, you're going to want to report. These would actually be recommended for replacement. Checking your lug nuts. Make sure that your rear steer tires, usually you don't have a lug nut you have to worry about. These, make sure all of your main lug nuts are tight. And then also the smaller ones, make sure you don't see oil leaking out of those because those will come loose. These are actually for an axle. Fluid checks, you're going to release your fuel tank, what's up locks, steering column up, seat forward, little lever here unlocks that. Your engine oil is on the yellow dipstick. You're going to want to make sure it's between the add and the full mark. Check your coolant overflow while you're in here. There are marks. You've got an add and a full. Make sure that there's coolant in that. Hydraulic fluid forks have to be lowered. And then you're going to want your fluid level between your full and low. Usually right in the middle when it's kind of cold. You're going to grab this plate, pull it up and out. Transmission fluid is checked with the engine off. It is on the smaller dipstick. You're going to lift it and make sure that it is towards the full on this one. Now your air filter, you've got 3 clips. At least those 3. Take that off. There's usually dust in here. Tap that out. And then check your air filter, make sure it's not plugged. This one's actually really good right here. You don't have any dust packed in there or anything like that. Put it back in the middle. Push it till it seats. This has a mark on it that says top. That has to be facing up when you put it back on. There is, down in the back, a screen you can actually take. These 2 lock up. Take these off, pull your screen up and out, and you can blow that out. You can also get at the fins on the radiator. Blow it from the back to the front. It'll loosen everything up in there, and then you can actually blow it from the front to the back again just to get the last of the dust out. Make sure you get up in the corners because it really packs in the top and bottom corners pretty good. Then put the screen back in, put your cover back on, tighten up the screws, the little thumb screws, and you're done. Turn your key on, it'll do a bulb check. Make sure your bulbs are actually all lighting up. Make sure that your temperature gauge is actually operating, your clock is flashing, your hour meter actually operates properly, you can read it. Make sure it is all legible, it's not all scratched up on you. And then start your truck, make sure all the lights shut off. Checking steering free plate, make sure that you are getting movement from your steer tires that is proportional to what you're getting out of it. So that you're not having any slop in there, no looseness in the steering wheel itself, but also that your wheels are actually turning properly. Checking your brakes. Your headlights, the front lights are number 2. You hit it once, they turn on. Hit it again, they turn off. Your rear light is number 3. You hit that and your rear light will turn on. Back off by hitting that same button again. Make sure your strobe light is working as well while you're back there. You have to have your key on for that. Does not have brake lights, it's got just the lenses, so you don't have to check the brake lights. Blue light, you need your engine running, and you have to put it in reverse in order for that blue light to turn on. Last one to check is your horn. Just hit that button, make sure you hear it, make sure it's not muffled, it's not quieter than the rest of the trucks. You want to be able to hear this, so make sure it's good and loud right now.